Hello everyone and welcome to the video. Today I'm going to be taking a look at this knife right here. This is the CRKT M16. This is a Carson design and this is the 01S variation of the M16. There's a bunch of different versions of the M16 out there. There's some with different blade steels, different blade shapes, different handle colors even, and there's even some with different lock types. There's some with a crossbar lock. I think there's maybe two versions out there with the crossbar lock instead of the frame lock right here. But yeah, there's a bunch of different versions of this knife. This is the 01S version, and that is the one I'm going to be taking a look at today. And also those different versions have varying levels of price as well. Also, before I get any further in the video, I would like to thank North Star Knife Reviews for letting me take a look at this knife. This is one of the knives that was included in the traveling box of knives that he sent out, and let me take a look at those knives. So a big shout out to him and thank you for that. But yeah, first off, let's start with the blade here. We have this really cool spear point blade. It's kind of a tactical looking blade, but it would still be very good for different EDC tasks like different utility cuts and stuff like that. I personally really like a spear point blade for doing utility work because of its versatility in shape. You get a really fine pointy tip there, and then you got a good belly in the blade as well for different kinds of cuts. So you can do cuts like that, or you can do a nice kind of piercing cut, like if you have tape that's or like a box that has a really thin area for you to get your knife in. That really thin point is very handy for stuff like that. And we also have a really nice swedge on the top here to kind of make it look like it has a second edge, but that is not. That is the spine of the blade. And we have a nice hollow grind right here, and this is a bead blasted finish on the knife, which is really good for hiding scratches and stuff. And I really like, I'm a big fan of the bead blasted finishes. I think it's cool. It still makes it kind of shiny, but yet it hides those scratches really well. And then we do have two different types of deployment. We have the thumb studs here, and we have the flipper tab right there. And this one has jimping on the flipper tab, which is nice. Kind of gives you some better grip on that flipper tab there. And we do have some knurling right there on the thumb studs, which I find interesting. I'm not sure what the thought process behind that is. I don't know if it gives you some traction on them or not. Or if it's just kind of an aesthetic thing. I can slow roll this out. I can't really flick it out with the thumb studs. Yeah, that is two options for the deployment of this knife, which is very nice. And we do have some good jimping on the top there, which isn't too aggressive. You can kind of feel it, but it's not too aggressive, and it helps kind of lock in my thumb there if I do kind of a saber grip. The overall handle design feels really good in my hand. Kind of got that little bump in there, in the little indent, and kind of rest my pointer finger, and the rest kind of follow that swell of the handle. And then my last one there locks into the end, and that hook, just really comfortable grip for me. Didn't have any problems with that. Yeah, I really like it. My hands are on the smaller to medium size, so maybe someone with bigger hands might go off the end there, but I really, for my hand, this knife fits really well. And one thing that's very interesting about this knife is if you look at this pivot here, we do have more knurling there, but it's actually a flathead, which is very interesting. I don't know why they did that. I don't know if it was made to give it kind of like a vintage military look, kind of like older, like World War II military gear kind of has that flathead screwdriver. That's what this reminds me of, at least. I'm not exactly sure the design choice on there, but it is interesting. I like the look of it. Just flat pivot over there, no screw on that side. And then the handle is stainless steel. It is black stainless steel. I'm not sure what they used to get the color on there. And then we have a bunch of these little cutouts here, I'm guessing to reduce weight. And it's also just a cool design feature as well. The pocket clip is sadly only a tip down carry, which is a little annoying because it makes the deployment of the flipper tab a little slower because I have to pull it out of my pocket, kind of reverse grip, then flip it out. So that is a little bit of annoyance. Not too bad, but I wish it was a a tip-up carry, that would be nicer. However, the pocket clip is reversible, so this can be used for left-handers, which is nice. I'm glad for that, and glad for all the lefties out there. And this is a completely ambidextrous knife then, because you have the thumb studs on both sides, and then the flipper tab is a completely ambidextrous deployment method. There is one plus side of it being a tip-up carry. This flipper tab's not pecking on stuff in your pocket, because like normally if it's a tip-down carry, you kind of move around, stuff gets hit in your pocket by that flipper tab. But with the tip-up, you don't have to worry about that. It's back here, out of the way. Don't worry about it. But yeah, it's a little slower to deploy because of that. And then for the hardware there, on the pocket clip and on the back here, those are all T6 bits. So everything is T6 except for the flathead pivot screw, which is, again, an interesting design choice. Oh, I forgot to mention the blade steel on this knife is 8CR13 MOV. Not one of my favorite blade steels. It's not terrible, but that's one thing about CRKT. Which I think they are doing actually better on a lot of their newer knives are having better blade steels, but they kind of use the 8CR13 MOV a little bit more than I wish they would, but I think they're getting better. They're starting to use more, I think, like D2 and stuff like that, and I think actually there are some variants of the CRKT M16 out there that have D2 blade steel on them, so that is nice to see that they're doing that upgrade out there. But this is 8CR13 MOV blade steel. It's going to be easy to sharpen, so that is a plus on it, and it is stainless. So that is good, but that edge isn't going to last that long. I'll give you the price on this guy. The price is around the $40 to $45 mark, depending on where you buy it from. And let me just grab a ruler here really quick so we can do a measurement on the size of this knife. First off, let's start with just the overall length of this knife. And it looks like we're coming in. Let me put it on the ruler here. There we go. We are at the end, and it looks like we're coming in at about 7 1/8, 7 and maybe 3/16 inches. It's kind of on the line between the two. So 7 1/8, 7 and 3/16 for the overall length. And then for the blade length, it's kind of a little tricky. Looks like we're coming in at the 3 1/8 mark on that. And for the overall cutting edge, just shy of 3 inches for the overall cutting edge on that. And then for the overall closed length of the knife, we are looking at about 4 inches, I'm going to say, is that. So yeah, those are the specs on the knife. Yeah, and the lock on this knife, lockup, is pretty good. It's a good solid crossbar lock. And really, I really like this knife, but there is one thing that that kind of ruins the whole thing for me, and it's this right here. The lock is a little tricky to get to. It's hard for me to disengage it one-handed. You might have seen me throughout the review here going through and doing it with my other hand and just closing it like that, because that's just easier for me. I just have a hard time getting to that lock there, mainly because there is no cutout on this side to access the lock. It's basically completely equal on both ends, so it's harder to get to that lock there. And another thing, this handle, it is metal, and the shape of it does lock in my hand pretty well. But like if my hands get sweaty, or if I get oil on them or something, or like hands get wet, this handle becomes slippery. That is a downside of it being a metal handle. It is nice and strong, so that is a plus to it being the stainless steel. But it's a little slippery. My hands kind of slip around on it sometimes, especially when sweaty or getting oil or something on it. And that also just adds to the toughness of disengaging that lock there. There is a little bit of jimping on the lock, which does help, but it's not really enough for me to get a good grip on that. Yeah, that kind of ruins the overall package of the knife for me. I still enjoy carrying it. I still enjoyed carrying it. I don't know if I would maybe go out and purchase one for myself because of that lock issue. I would maybe, I would like to check out one of the crossbar lock versions at some point. I might like that one better. But yeah, that crossbar lock is just a little hard for me to engage in it. It ruined the carry experience a little bit. I still enjoy carrying this knife, and I still like it. It's still a really great knife. I love the overall design. But yeah, that crossbar lock and a little bit of slippery handles are kind of annoying, and are kind of the two biggest negatives for this knife in my opinion. But this knife does have a lot of good positives to it. I still really enjoyed carrying it, and I think that's pretty much all I have. Let me kind of think about. Oh, before I go, let me quickly grab a scale so that we can get a weight on this knife. All right, I am back, and I got a scale right here. So let's go ahead and put that there where you can see it. Looks like we are in grams right now, so we'll do grams first. And really, for it being stainless steel, it's not that heavy. I think those holes help a lot with reducing the weight. But let's just set it on here. I'm guessing kind of around the 3-ounce mark. Oh, this is grams, so well, 81 grams. So maybe it's around the 4. Whoa, okay. That surprised me. So it is close to the 3-ounce, but 2.8 ounces for a frame lock stainless steel handled knife. Let me do a quick 2.8. Yeah. So yeah, that surprised me. Yeah, it's not cumbersome in the pocket or anything, or in the hand. In fact, in the hand, because of that, I really like it because this feel of metal. I do like it, even though it is slippery. I do like the feel of it, and it gives it it makes it feel like a substantial knife, but it doesn't really feel heavy. And actually, I don't think, you know what, I did not really notice it in the pocket, so it is a relatively lightweight knife for what it is. Yeah, but I don't think I have anything else to say about this knife. That's pretty much it. I did enjoy carrying it. I really liked it. It has some really good features. I love that blade shape. That blade shape is really cool and is a really good functional utility cutting knife. Really like the flipper tab and also the deployment of this knife. Let me flick it out one more time. It's just nice and smooth and quick. Just love how that shoots out like that. The biggest negatives, a little hard to access that lock there on the bottom, and the handle's a little slippery. But that's really all I have to say about this knife. It has a few things that kind of taint the experience a little bit for me, but I still like it, and I would, if this was my knife, I would still carry it every once in a while. But I think that's going to do it for now. Thank you again to North Star Knife Reviews for letting me take a look at this knife. I really appreciate it. Thank you all for watching. Keep your pens filled and your knife sharp, and I'll see you later.